In today's video, I'm getting a package of some extremely rare reptiles that very few people in the USA, even the planet, get to work with or even see. Now, my fellow reptile nerds, I'll help start up that imagination machine you got going on in here by simply asking, is it yet another rare, unique night anomorph that you see all over the internet? Or is it a spin on a classic like the brown anole, or maybe it's something you are already familiar with if you're a viewer of this channel? More or less, you just have the imagination started and you won't find out till later in this video. Now, I'm sure that FedEx truck right now is breaking all sorts of fun speed laws, you know, like going 75 in a 25 school zone, blah 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 blah. But, you know, any moment now, I guarantee you, we're about to get a knock on that door. Well, isn't that crazy? Coincidence, some may even say planned. Now, let's go get these lizards. Yeehaw.
So, you may have realized from the last unboxing video, because not many people watched it, at least the one that I filmed, there was a video, and that video got taken down, at least for the original upload. That's because I leaked the homeboy's address. So, as you see, we came with a really intelligent countermeasure called find a Sharpie real quick so I can scribble this out, because I was originally going to just use tape. Then I realized the tape is in a bag that's being used for construction at a property. So, yeah, that's where we are currently. But, next thing you know, we obviously have to stab the box violently. Oh look, someone did it here earlier. That's funny. Now, the box, knife in the way, out the way, all the fun stuff. And as you may have been guessing, these are some pretty rare anoles from Florida. This is a young Anolis Porcus Morso juvenile. Male, obviously. Reason we got him is because, my buddy's like, hey, you want Porcus? I'm like, yeah, sure. Because I already had one some time ago. And sadly, that individual is not with us anymore. Now, you may have watched the prior unboxing video where we originally leaked the homeboy's address, but those were for Anolis Porcus, a very similar species to Anolis Porcus, but they have a red fur. We'll talk about it a lot more later in the video. Hi, doggy. But as you see here, this is a pretty somewhat larger Anolis Valencienni than the one you may have saw in these videos. That's because my hair seems to be a little bit on the smaller side. They're still reproducing. They're actually above the age they should breed, and from the prior keeper's care, they had all the food in the world. So, the reason they're small is just a weird thing with them. But this male is obviously more of a better size, so we're going to get some work done. As you see, missing tail, we're going to call him Mr. Frogbutt as the days of crested geckos. Let's go talk about him.
Now you got to see these amazing lizards come out the box that totally came out of Florida. It's wild. I'm going to talk about Mr. Frogbutt. Anole. Now, this is Anolis Valencienni, and if you watch this video and that video, there you go. Those are the two videos on him on the channel. Hopefully I'll have more coming out soon. Knock on wood. But the story behind why this little man right here dropped his tail is pretty weird. My buddy basically told me one day he had a tail, and the next day during cleanings and looking for eggs and all the other fun anole breeding stuff, he dropped it. Very weird, very unusual. But unlike the crested geckos where we derived Frogbutt the name from, this species does something pretty, common in lizards, which is the fact that they, regrow their tails, which is a big plus because this would definitely be an awkward sight to see going forward. So give it a couple months time and we're going to have most of his tail back. But before we move on to our next guest, which is the Porcus from earlier, we're going to talk about something real quick. Now, why did I get another Valencienni? More or less, if you're seeing the other clips on the screen, he's actually significantly bigger than my other Valencienni. That's because my pair, as I mentioned in that clip, the unboxing, they just seem to be smaller. The reason I can tell you, there isn't much to it. Some animals are just smaller, and there is a theory that there is a smaller line as well in the wild, like a little smaller locality. But the common thing going on here is that it's probably just a little bit too much inbreeding for that line. So what this male is going to do, since he's unrelated to both animals, the offspring that's going to come from them currently is going to get kept, at least a female, and get bred back to him. But the male I have is actually going to get replaced pretty soon with him, and that new male is going to be setting up into a new group once I find another female. Which, I don't know about you, but it's always a horrible, way too long of a journey to get any animal I want. Unless it's like somewhat common, I guess. But after I get at least one or a pair, they just start getting thrown at me. I mean, when it came to Barbados, it took me like a year to find my first pair, and once I got my first pair, it's like I just magically had 14 the next day, and it was wild. I don't know what to tell you. And Valencienni, it looks like we're going the same direction. I got myself a pair after 3 years of searching, and now I have another male, which is just an amazing feeling. I honestly can't describe it, because now this means not only am I completing my first goal of even getting a pair, I'm getting really close to producing the pair. I just have horrible luck with the incubator.
My friend, we don't want to work anymore. We just don't want to work anymore. We ain't feeling it today.
Please watch this video. It has no views. I wanted to get better views. But, you know, I now have another male, which means I can now make genetically better individuals. I can now cross this to that, do a whole bunch of extra stuff, and it's just really nice, really amazing, and it's just a joyous feeling, if you ask me. I'm very happy. Plus, this guy's really pretty. He has a lot of orange on him, and if you've been seeing clips lately on the Instagram, my female has been getting so orange lately. I really am really curious to see what the offspring's gonna be. Hopefully we get some high orange. Who knows? The time will tell, guys. Yeah! Let's go talk about Porcus. Before we talk about Porcus, you guys should sub, like, share, and make sure this video gets more views, and let everyone know, even people who don't even like you or like me, make sure they watch this video. I don't know. Right, May?
Right.
Yeah, thank you. Also, small disclaimer, these animals aren't from the wild of Florida. I feel like I should have to say that, just because, like, I'm kind of keeping the joke throughout the video, but just in case someone isn't getting it. No, these are bought from a breeder. No, they're CBB, many generations, captive bred, Florida, crown giant. Cool? Anolis, Instagram. Now we can talk about our second guest, which is this Anolis Porcus male, which if you're new here, this is related to the Cuban false chameleons you see so much around and I post so much of, which is Anolis barbatus. Now recently due to the club Anolis Porcus. We're talking about it real soon. Wait. But these are a lot better than barbatus if you ask me. Not only do they grow faster, look how big this young man is, not only do they look better, look at the scales, right? They're much larger, much more like rounder. I'm gonna just say rounder, guys. But these animals are far more prettier than a barbatus. Then their personalities, at least with what I've seen from my animals and seeing from my buddies, they definitely seem to be a lot more willing to just be more unique, per se. Where if barbatus, you know, 9 times out of 10, I know how they're gonna act, I know which is this, I know what they're gonna do, I know what they're thinking, I know their individual personality, and I know how to work with that. Where if Porcus and Porcus and what I've seen around, you know, they tend to be a little bit more weird. They tend to just seem more out there, you know? Hell, when I was getting this animal, he decided to say, hey, let's just leap today, and leap onto my mic and then drop onto my misting system, and now we're here. Because he just felt like that. Because he's a weird guy. You know, he's quirky. Now, the really interesting thing about me having him is now that I don't just have Barbatus and Porcus, I now have Barbatus, Porcus, and Porcus. Now, in the USA, there's exactly 4 Cuban false chameleons, and that's all of them, and then this is the 4th one, the one I do not have, which means I only need to get him a female, wait some time, along with wait some time for the Porcus, wait some time, and buy the Grom UI. Please correct me in the comment sections, John. But yeah, you know, guess what? One more to go, and we'll have all the Cuban false chameleons under, well, not this roof in the near future, but it'll be under a roof very soon. Now, what if I told you this is the end of the video? But, you know, there's never just an end of video. I have to make y'all go and watch another video and just continuously do that. So, you know, if you want to watch a video, how about you watch this video where we talk about the red fruits? You know, the Porcus that aren't fully described. We've mentioned them briefly, but how about you sit down and watch a whole video on the subject?